Yeah, correct.
So walk me through, because it's, I think, probably a very, very important transition for our listeners and for our viewers is you enter into that critical stage of the teenage years.
Yes.
And here you are, not rooted necessarily into, into any faith at all.
Correct. Yep.
You have some formation from your grandparents, which thank you to your grandparents for that. But what happened next? What do the high school and college years start to look like for you?
Yeah.
If you don't mind being vulnerable and honest with.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I had wonderful, high school years and junior high school years. I was in love with music, and music is still one of my great joys in life. And so when I was younger, I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to be a guitar player. I wanted to play in bands. And so I would spend time all through my junior high school and early high school years practicing the guitar. So I would do like 6, 7, 8 hours a day of practicing guitar. I would take guitar lessons. I loved music. I loved really hard rockin' music, and so that's what I thought that's what I was gonna get into. And I put my whole energy and time into that.
Is this like, if you don't mind, is this like 1980s?
Yeah, this was the 80s time.
So this is like big. This is like big hair bands.
Big hair bands. Yeah.
Who was your favorite?
Long hair
back then.
Oh gosh, probably Metallica. Probably.
Yeah.
But any of any of the hair metal bands, if our listeners are familiar with that time period, that was what ruled MTV. That was what ruled sort of the airwaves, and that was just so that's what I was like aiming to do.
I still remember my brother Chris and I. We had our VHS, and we're like recording those back in the day. So you had your favorite videos, that you would be able.
VHS,
exactly.
Yeah. So I was a child of the '80s. I grew up in the '70s, but a child of sort of my formative years were in the '80s, and so I grew up, on the media of like MTV and VH1 and just all the other. I mean, back then, as you know, there was cable television, but there wasn't a lot of opportunities like there are today. So, but that was I was enmeshed in that culture.
Did you have a favorite guitarist back then that you were trying to emulate?
Yeah, there was a guy named George Lynch in a group called Dokken. So they were.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, they were like an LA band.
Okay.
And I just thought this person had the chops. They could really just play and like had the image. Just. He had everything that that a rock star needed at that time, and so I was very like enthused with that, and so I said I got to emulate this guy. I got to. So I practiced. I learned his music. I grew my hair out long. Yes, I used to have long hair, but So I mean, I did everything that I could to try to. Yeah.
Did you ever get it really lengthy?
I did. Yeah. I had it. The longest I've ever had it was down to my waist. So I had it, and there'll be pictures. I'm sure at some point people will get a chance to see.
You went all in, Father.
I went all in. Absolutely.
So obviously, the rock and roll lifestyle has a lot of vice that comes along with it.
Absolutely.
So were you able to stay on track, or do you feel like you got sucked into?
No. God, thank you. He was working for me even back then. I was able to stay right on track. I mean, I knew that sobriety was, is very important if you take your craft seriously. So, if you really want to, I mean, and that goes for anything, whether, whatever job you do, whatever vocation you're called for, the sobriety is a key thing to be able to concentrate so that you can be taken seriously and be a professional. And so I was gifted to not have to worry about any of those kind of issues, because it really does bring destruction to people's lives, So.
It really does. Yeah. No question, Father Jeff, and thank you for mentioning that, because you don't even have to be rooted in your faith to at least know exactly what you just said, which is sobriety is going to allow you to live a better life and
Absolutely.
to be a better professional, whatever that profession is.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, layer God, or put God at the foundation of that.
Exactly.
Even better, but
even better. Yeah.
Which we'll get to in just a second.
Yeah.
So how long did this, did this lifestyle continue?
So I would say, I was in the band period for probably about 5 years. So, I was playing locally in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware area, got a chance to perform at many different stages and had, very decent following. This was the early 90s now that we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are you allowed to say the name of the band?
Yeah, the band was called Rebel Heart. So Rebel
Nice.
Heart. So yeah. So we were four suburban kids from Downingtown High School. Actually, one was from I think East High School, graduated in Westchester. So we were we all had wonderful families. So we all had that. We all had that wonderful family structure. All four of us did.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to stay. I was able to stay away from the craziness, and most of my band members were able to do the same as well. And I think that, the foundation of the family was rooted even back then with all of us. So that played a strong role.
Give me the top 3 places that you had an opportunity to play.
Okay, so I'd see. One of my favorite was in Northeast Philadelphia. It was called the Empire Rock Club. So it was off the Roosevelt Boulevard, and it was very popular because it sprang some of the largest rock groups that came out of Philadelphia.
What? Give me 2. Do you have 2 others?
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think. There was one in called the Cell Block, and that was in Philadelphia, and then there was one called the 4-in-1 Club in Wilmington, Delaware.
Cool.
Yeah. Just cool places. That time the scene was really growing in Philly, and it was fabulous. It was a fabulous time for music, for that kind of music.
Were you guys playing your own music or cover music?
We pretty much did about 95% of our own music.
That's awesome.
So yeah. I mean, covers. I mean, there's a lot of good cover groups out there, but we wanted to focus on, because we were looking to get a record deal, so we needed to sort of do that.
Did you get close? I mean, were you almost there?
We weren't very close, but we took steps to get there. But the scene was actually changing. So if you have the hair metal groups, and then you had grunge come in. Mm-hmm. So the groups like Nirvana and Soundgarden and a lot of those kind of groups. So we were kind of being shifted out.
Yeah, because that was like early to mid 90s.
Correct.
That really made the next.
Yeah.
So that starts to put you guys at
yeah.
bay.
So we were basically it wasn't overnight, but it was literally within a year's period that no longer people wanted to hear that kind of rock and roll music, and so they wanted to hear the newer stuff, and that's the cycle of the music industry throughout time.
Yeah, if you catch it at the right time, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to open for anyone, anything big or any shows?
No, we never got a chance. That we opened up for some like maybe second level tier bands that would be playing on MTV. Mm-hmm. No one, I don't think anyone would know, but I mean, it was like, for us, it was sort of exciting.
Big deal, absolutely.
Yeah, for us, it was exciting. I mean, we were trying our best to book ourselves and trying to get some of the gigs around the area, and it was hard to do, but we were able to get some success. It was small, but we had fun. We enjoyed it. Yeah.
A great, really, really great time in your life.
Yeah.
So then, do you maintain friendship with?
I do, yeah. And all the guys just got together for my ordination as well.
Did they really?
So yeah, so one guy flew out from San Francisco, and the other 2 guys still live locally, and they came to my ordination and first mass. And so we actually took pictures of we posted on Facebook a picture of the band back in '89, and then we recreated that shot. At Daylesford Abbey, all of us standing in the same spot, and we put it split level.
That's a perfect before and after.
Yeah.
I love it, Father Jeff.